With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With a visual rhyme, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show stop.
Everybody be looking at me through the microscope. Oh, I can't flow, finna rock the boat. Just because all my people living comfortable don't mean everybody got a front to roll. See, ain't like Mo, the niggas and hoes. And how much dough, or what you roll, or what he roll. To the fake war show, or how much endo a nigga could blow. See, vanity, you put a hole in your dome like a cavity. Now all y'all niggas looking mad at me, cause I'm fancy free, you living fancy free. See, y'all were concerned with the club at night. I wish thug finna hug the mic, but never think about the fact that these motherfuckers drugs fight. All the water in the food supply, and airplanes fly high in the sky, spraying microscopic from the tropics. Man-made shit up in your optic, nah shit, I'm in this toxic. But I'm finna switch topics, all about these fake ass cops. They love to drop, all my niggas in the cell to rock. Put a shot in the bumper clock, but boy blood clot. Cause the soldiers think you clock, because they got the technology. Probably that'll be all up in your brain, lobotomy, sodomy of the mind, kinda like psychology. Never get apology, gotta be running through the blood genealogy. Open your eyes, focus your mind, cause the things that you can't see, much realer than the things that you can't see. I'm spitting facts that react, but you really can't stand.
With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With the visual rhyme, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not every day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show.
Yo, pick up the pace. When I penetrate and meditate, you bitch niggas sit back and menstruate. Heed the words, focus and fixate. The horns blowing, don't be late to get caught with a deadly onslaught. The fist, the cuff, saints, gunshots, my gun cock. Aimed at the wicked World War III's been scripted. To the Bible, I'm addicted. Strive to be a brainiac and you a nit. With the unfruitful's already been sifted. Nigga, you better get with SOJ, get evicted. Watch me rip it. Similar to when heads roll, my rhymes cold like my lines are from the North Pole. 200 million angels at the toll, take off your blindfold. Remember being bought and sold? Remember being lame, nigga. Take out the game, nigga. Black, Indian, Latin, it's all the same, nigga. We gotta pull it together like a gun trigger. Wait for Christ to deliver. 144 G's in the figure. Move to the zone with vigor. Plus I live the life of a villain. It's Mike who's not listening. I'm still dealing, still with a double-edged sword, slicing demons and hordes. And yo, in the name of the Lord, who's ready to settle the score and kick down Esau's door. Got the word on like a figure four. My soldiers hit the floor on one accord. Boy, you get destroyed if you lack knowledge. You be SOJ, nigga, I doubt it. This is where the unlearned get confounded. In my zone, I try to stay well-rounded. Brothers see me on the streets and look astounded. I got the strap to Esau, and this is how it sounds.
Ain't gon' be another day walking in the way of the heathen. Constant even niggas are scared to open their ears to the true teachings of the Almighty. The word is a power devours non-believers and cowards decompose flesh. The hours opponents, be honest, be cloners. Gonna split truth all the way to Daytona. You stress about tomorrow and what's on before you. Don't think about your even what you're doing. Cash flow, guns flow, how about those you're screwing? What you doing, who you're choosing. Expiration date of who is brewing. Inquire of the Lord, as he holds the sword. With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With a visual rhyme, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show stop. With every single tick-tock of the clock, time don't stop, but it only get intensified. With a visual rhyme, my mind's eyes only visualize and get prepared for the strenuous time. Cause everybody wanna know when it's gon' pop. Cause the 2G flop, when it gon' drop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign. Cause only seconds till the show stop. No, not either day of the time, but take a look at the sign, cause only seconds till the show stop.
There you have it. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. WW3. This is your brother IQAhmath. I acquired first name. IQ is all the same. Shabbat shalom to the saints that's in the house. All praises, man. I'm seeing y'all comments of sharing love, spreading love, saluting the saints. All of y'all that's tapping in. All praises. Appreciate y'all support. It's another episode. DSTM. Here we go. DSTM. Don't shoot the messenger. You know what time it is. You know why you're here. I know why you're here. We know why we're all here. We got to get up on this information. Current events. We got to see what's going on in our surroundings. We got to understand and know the times and the days of the prophecies as it pertains to our salvation. I know my brother Bayan threw in there, and he said, man, we almost home. Almost home. As that song that I just played, Intensify, says, We don't know the day or the time, but take a look at the signs because only seconds till the show starts, right? So that's what we're trying to do is take a look at the times, take a look at the signs because it's only seconds until the show starts. Sit back, relax, get your popcorn, get it all ready, man. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well on Shabbat and is preparing and getting ready for our Feast of First Fruits of Pentecost. Hopefully, you guys got a chance to tap into the lesson I did last night, that aired last night regarding you reap what you sow. You know, in the spirit of Pentecost, it's important to understand and know what type of fruit do you want to sow at this point in time in your life, at this point in time in your walk on this truth, at this point in time in your confessions to want to be an upright man or woman of the Lord. How do you want to be rooted? How do you want to, establish your foundation or continue growing in your foundation? So it's very important that we understand and know what we're sowing because that's what we're gonna get back, right? If you have not already, I pray that you wipe your feet, show some love to the channel, let the algorithms know that we small but mighty over here, and we definitely are standing behind each other, supporting each other, man. So all you got to do, man, hit that like button, run it up on the damn algorithm so we can let it be known that activity is going on over here, and they can share and spread the word to other subscribers and others that are looking for content as it pertains to biblical prophecy, narratives of current events, so forth and so on, right? As you can see, the title, The Kingdom Divided Itself Can't Stand. That's according to Yahweh words in Mark the 3rd chapter. And you see the divide is going on even more heavily. All praise to the Most High. Trump and Elon is beefing. They had a crazy bromance together for a hot minute. There was a hot new couple out on these political streets, slobbing each other down in public, doing it all, right? But now all of a sudden there's trouble in paradise, right? As they're mudslinging against each other, man, turning up against each other, accusations flying wild, beefing publicly, man. I love it. I love it because it's only going to show that the fall of America, aka Babylon, is getting that much closer. And if it ain't that much closer, the guaranteed writing is on the wall because all the prescriptive things that the scriptures acknowledge, what will take down the kingdom, it's all happening here. It's all happening here. When Revelation 18 says that the sins of this place has reached to the heavens, oh, it's done its job. Just by them having a pride month, it's done its job, right? That's just one aspect of it. Let me hold on. I need to share my screen. If I'm coming in clear, everything sounding cool, let me know because I know in times past I'm messing around and forgot to unmute the mic and throw a 7 in the chat, man, if y'all can hear me and everything's solid. Do that for your brother, would you please? Baba Kushai. Do that for me, and we're gonna get right into topic at hand. Mark the 3rd chapter, right? Let's get right to it. Verse 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. So long as America continually operates in division, they cloak it under, oh, this is just politics. Oh, this is just, how we operate and do elements of democracy. No, as long as you still have a right wing, left wing, i.e. the elements of the eagle. And they use those same, same term. My screen is dark. What's that about? Let's try that again. Let's rewind that. Satan trying to pop up in here and play games, huh? Okay. We keep fighting though. All praises. There we go. All right. Mark 3, verse 24, one more time. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. So we always use the analogy regarding, this place being as swift as the eagle flieth, right? According to the scriptures in Deuteronomy 28. When he said he's going to bring a nation against thee from far, swift as the eagle fly. The eagle obviously is being symbolic of a predatory bird that preys and feasts on smaller prey. It's the apex predator of the air. It's an endangered species, which the so-called white man is and will be, right? And it also gives us keen understanding regarding its connections to its previous empires, i.e., Rome, which held up the eagle as its symbolization. I played a video from this movie called The Eagle, and it's on Netflix. Good movie. Y'all should check that out. The Eagle. And I played a couple little clips from that, but it just gives more credence to us understanding and knowing that when the Bible acknowledges this place as being the offshoot of the eagle, right, or it's coming from the kingdom that represented the eagle being Rome. This is America, right? So even in their terminology, let's look at this real quick. Deuteronomy 28:49. The Most High Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle fly. That's not just talking about metaphorically how fast it fly, but really in a multifaceted ways how America got established. America is the fastest growing empire with the shortest, has a short lifespan so far. It's the youngest empire left, right? It's swift as the eagle flieth. So with tenacity, ferocity, how America has established this place through colonization, lies, deceit, broken peace treaties, warfare, biological warfare, slaughtering a nation, stealing of land, pillaging the land for its resources and gold, capitalizing on it, not paying back any of its indigenous, predecessors that they took over the lands from. Right, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, so they will come speaking a language that was not familiar to us, and they did that, right? But the thing that will take down this kingdom is when it's divided against itself. So again, when they have the terminologies that they use by their own admissions is a left wing and a right wing, right? Why is it wings? Because they are looking at the representation of the eagle. Metaphorically, that's what they're doing, right? As long as you've got a Republican, a Democrat, as long as you've got technocracy versus a democracy, as long as you've got a nationalist versus a liberal, right? These are all aspects of the vision that's going to show that America is finished, man. You got Elon, he's a technocrat. The technocrat is one who says that technology wants to rule by technology, and then you got Trump, who's a nationalist, who says that all interest should be in the nation and wants to still work through the political parties and the means of a budget and money and finance and capitalizing off of shaking hands and making deals. That whole philosophy within itself, the two clash with each other, right? So now we're seeing what's going on. We talked about it, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, when the quote, big, beautiful bill got passed or going through Congress to get passed. And once the onion, the peels on the onion was getting revealed, it was like, oh, this is a gang. This is more debt. This is more of what we've already been dealing with slow Biden and his administration. Much of the same, much more of the same, right? But with a few little tweaks. He used the Department of Government Efficiency, headed by Elon Musk, right, to create more money within the budget by doing all kind of governmental cuts and restricting of spendings and layoffs and everything else to save all this money. Then they're asking, well, where's the money going? Why is it not getting reinvested in this, that, and the third? And it's like, oh, yeah, we don't need you anymore, Doge. Elon, thanks for all your help. We'll decide on where this money is going. He was also mad because they didn't, they doing all the tax cuts for the American-made cars and not just EVs. He was getting the cuts for the EVs, but they was like, nah, we're not doing that no more. So he felt backstabbed. We'll get all into it as we continue. And I'm jumping the gun. Slow down, IQ. Slow down. right? But we see here, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. So that's the precedence that we're going to stand on. But we're going to look at a few other things too. We still got to get an update on where this World War III scenario is heading. And the AI, takeovers in full flare. Um, the beast system, man, is definitely knocking on the door, man. I need y'all to be vigilant, be aware, and understand and know, because that's what's coming down to. Let's get a scripture also just to make sure that we're keeping our minds in that focus too. 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant. That doesn't mean that, hey, it's first fruits. You can't have a little sip and turn up a little bit with your peoples today and tomorrow. No, it's meaning be consciously aware. Have clarity of mind, right? In the spirit and understanding and knowing what's going on. And be vigilant, meaning what? Be aware. Because why? Your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom we may devour. I got a video and a news report I'm gonna play a little later, where they're even talking about with travel now, especially for right now. I believe that they're speaking on non-residents or citizens. When you're going through customs now, they've raised up the security level. So now we're not only are they checking your backgrounds with your passports, your visas, your background affiliations, your luggage. Now they're actually even going through the phones now. Now they're scanning your phones for checking your text messages, your pictures, your downloads, your apps. They're getting ready to integrate a whole entire security grid system locked in through the phones, and they definitely are walking about like a roaring lion, seeking whom they may devour. So there's a lot going on right now, man, and we got to get right to it. Before we start off, man, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory, man, and shout out to my brother Aladad. Brother got his fruits going, and we talked about, especially last night, talking about experiences in gardening or whatnot. Brother shared this picture with me and Elder Ross this morning regarding his first fruits, and the strawberries is popping up, man. So, this is just an example of live learning and applying the scriptures as best you can. Not saying everybody has to have a garden, but you just see, some of us are practicing what we preach. Some of us are actually, getting involved in getting a green thumb and learning a little bit more about gardening and learning a little bit more about being self-sufficient, because, it's important to have a multifaceted of skills to understand and know, because, like we was talking this morning, this is a lost art, so to speak. We've become spoiled regarding our consumption and how we get the food. I mean, now we're at a point now where you got a company called Klarna, or Klarna, one of the Klarna, I believe, Klarna. That's the company that is financing, the groceries, the buy now, pay later, and all that. I mean, we're at a point now where people are needing to finance their food, right? And I said this years ago, that the incoming famine is not going to be because there's not going to be any food available. It's going to be because not going to be affordable. That people are going to be missing meals because they can't afford the food from the price inflation. And then the food that they do sell us, we know is GMO laced, soy laced, and everything else to slow kill us, right? When we had a garden at our old congregation, man, that I made mention of, we used to reap damn near trash bags full of greens, kale, zucchini, what else do we have? Okra, tomatoes. We was growing a lot of stuff. And many a times we couldn't give the stuff away. People would turn it down or just didn't want it, or just was like, oh, that came from the ground. Oh, that's dirty. I don't want to have to clean it. And it was kind of wild that people would turn down free food. I was like, look, y'all gonna be begging for this in the future. We would come back reaping. And Handful of families will take some, you know. Most will be like, ah, I'm cool. That's great. Good to see y'all got it going on. But now we're at a point where uh, people are now looking to more homesteading and learning about how to grow gardens and doing what you can do. So brother, offered up his and this is just an important testimony because I've seen both sides of the fence. Where he actually learning how to harvest and grow and plant and garden, and at the same time still going to the grocery store buying. But we're gonna get to a point to where we got to make choices, and we got to not only eat through faith, because Lord knows we're going to be dealing with all kind of mistreatments of our food. Even Ezekiel in the 4th chapter says that we're going to eat our defiled bread in the land of our captivity, paraphrasing. And even Yahweh said in Mark 16 that we're going to drink poison and eat poison and live. But that's all through the faith of Mashiach Yahweh and in our belief in these laws, statutes, and commandments that we're putting forth our efforts to follow the laws as thus saith the Lord in Leviticus 11:14, so forth and so on, regarding trying to maintain a clean diet according to the scriptures. But brother was just sharing his first fruits, man. So all praises, man, letting you know even through the seasonal times, when the time for the first fruits actually start ripening up, right on time. When things are planted on time, going through the cycles of change, growth. Now all of a sudden here we are at first fruits, and the ripening of these strawberries is here. So scriptures don't lie, man. But reading these two scriptures, Deuteronomy 26:10, and now behold, I have brought the first fruits of the land which thou, O Yahweh, hast given me, and thou shalt set it before Yahweh thy power, and worship before Yahweh thy power. That's what we got to do. The Most High gives that increase, we got to give it up to him. Got to give it up to him, right? Proverbs 3:9, honor the Most High Yahweh with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So shout out to my brother Aladab, man, doing good work with his garden. Elder Rashab got his. He's starting to build up, man. And anybody else that's out there that's already knowing what time it is and trying to get your stuff together, keep with it, keep at it, keep at it. All right, all praises. Let's get to it now. Ukraine's stunning assault. Royals Russia's global military strategy. Now, this is funny, and I, said, remember last week I said, you know what? It's not really much going on with this war. We're kind of hearing the same things over and over again. A lot of verbal threats is happening. I'm gonna lay off until something real goes down. Like I want to see something really going down. And then guess what? 3-4 days later, massive attack on Russia's Russia with their military bombers and all that. Ukraine lights them up. Then the next day, they hit the bridge. Right? And I was like, oh, okay. All praise to the Most High. Then it got escalated a little bit. Things got turned up some. You got all in the hip, the talk back and forth about, oh, is it going to be peace talks? No peace talks. Oh, we're threatening. We're going to bomb it. Oh, but you feel me? So when I said, hey, I'm gonna lay off until I'm gonna just breeze over this up until some major stuff goes on. And what do you know? A few days later, surprise drone attack hits warplanes, vital to Russia's war with its neighbor. Now, part of this, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm scratching my head a little bit, and I'm really trying to see like what's real and what isn't. What's real and what isn't, right? Because some of this stuff and some of these reports that we're getting, I don't know. We're gonna see. Hold on now. I'm not saying this didn't happen, but I'm saying I think some of these things are minor, but they're making them more major in order to create the chaos needed to get multiple nations involved and get this World War III situation in full flare. Right? No more of this proxy war stuff. No more of these little jabs lighting back and forth and threats and alliances being shown, but nobody's moving on them. Like they're using these little incidences to and inflating them to make them sound worse than they are. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but Something ain't adding up. Let me show y'all in a minute. Look, Ukraine's unprecedented drone strikes on Russian Air Force bases weaken Moscow's ability to wage war on its smaller neighbor and undermine its capacity to threaten more distant rivals such as the U.S. A shift with potentially far-reaching geostrategic implications. So they're saying that this attack that they did on the warplanes by its smaller neighbor, Ukraine, is the David against Goliath. You know, they took out these warplanes now, and Russia's crippled, and a third of their planes are down, and their ability to bomb is. If anybody believes that, man, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say. You still got drones. You still got them being able to launch nukes from the ground, from submarines, and the whole nine. Like, ain't nobody stopped from doing anything, and nobody's handicapped and hindered. Russia is far from. They are the leading nuclear power in the world, and because you took out, or supposedly took out, what, 10 planes or less than that, all of a sudden they crippled. I don't know about that. Now look at it. It's a sizable portion of the fleet Moscow uses to launch guided missile attacks on Ukraine and would rely on to strike adversaries in the event of a nuclear war was damaged or destroyed in the coordinated attacks. Russia no longer produces the decades-old Tupolev planes, meaning it has lost a cornerstone of its ability to project military power beyond its borders. So they're saying that these particular planes are like one of one, and they can't reduplicate them. They don't have any more on deck, and that's pretty much it, right? So let's continue and let's see what else is happening. See here, Russian bombers are burning in mass. In mass. Look at the wording, right? Beforehand, they said a sizable portion. Then they say the bombers are burning in mass. Ukraine's SBU drones hit more than 40 aircraft in a mass attack, as sources say. 40, right? Now, before we go there, they said more than 40 of them are burning. Now, that's one report. Now, here's another report. You see the date. See the early reports, they were saying, oh, massive attack. 40 planes burning in mass. Oh, it's horrible. You know, Russia's in trouble. You see here, I'm not making it up. A sizable portion. The bombers are burning in mass. I mean, you would swear all hell is breaking loose, right? Now, you double back and you see this report here. I just got this morning. Ukrainian attack damage 10%. Is that in mass? Is that a sizable portion? 10% of Russia's strategic bombers. Germany said, oh, wait a minute. How does Germany have this intel? How does that? Oh, hold on. Now, follow me. Because mind you, Germany is a NATO ally and a member of NATO. Germany's got the analytics. Germany's got they did the numbers, right? Now look at this picture. Notice this look like a digital image. These look like fake images. This one wasn't even touched. So how do they just do hopscotch? Boom, ooh, leave that one. Boom, boom. Oh, and this one look like who knows what. Let me hold on. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping. Let me size that up for you. Let me size it up. And now you give it a good look. Give it a good look, and you tell me if this looks like a legitimate picture. You can see the fake shadowing underneath of this one, right? This look like they got some dust and dirt thrown on them. I mean, no fire, nothing burning around. I mean, okay, believe that if you want to, right? Believe that if you want to, but let's double back, right? And let me shrink that down. Now, mind you, notice where the intelligence is coming from Germany. And you're saying, well, why has Germany got this information? How does Germany get this? How do they know this, the stats? A Ukrainian drone attack last weekend likely damaged around 10% of Russia's strategic bomber fleet and hit some of the aircraft as they were being prepared for strikes on Ukraine, a senior Germany military official said. Why is Germany reporting what is happening over here, right? And they throw in there that they were getting ready to go strike Ukraine. How do they know that? See, this is when you talk about propaganda. This is when you're talking about false flag type situations. Who knows? But this ain't sounding right. The pictures look fake as hell. Then they saying, oh well, they was getting ready to bomb Ukraine, and Ukraine got them first. All right, look. According to our assessment, more than a dozen aircraft were damaged. A dozen. How's that in mass? Didn't they say 40 of them beforehand? They can never get their story straight. First they said 40, now they're saying it's 12. Before they said it's a sizable portion, now it's okay, 12 of them, right? And let's continue. More than a dozen were damaged. Tu-95 and Tu-22 strategic bombers, as well as the A-50 surveillance planes. German Major General Christian Frieding said in a YouTube podcast reviewed by Reuters ahead of his publication later on Saturday. Now, look here. We believe that they can no longer. Hold on, let's see something. No, okay, let's continue. Now, here he says, we believe that they can no longer be used for spare parts. This is a loss as only a handful of these aircraft exist, he said. As for the long-range bomber fleet, 10% of it has been damaged in the attack, according to our assessment. Now, why is Ukraine supposedly submitting information back to NATO? Because when you're saying Germany, you're saying NATO, you're saying the U.S., you're talking about France, Great Britain, etc. So they're reporting back to NATO. All right, let me just jump the gun. NATO was behind this bombing. NATO and the U.S. behind the bombing. Why and how is because they're the ones that provided the coordinates. They're the ones that provided the training and the accessibility to be able to utilize these drones to make the bombing go forward. This is why Ukraine is being used as a proxy to attack Russia. It's only a matter of time before Russia finally says, you know what? I'm just going to go for the head of the snake, man. I'm going to stop playing around with this Ukraine situation. I'm going to knock this thing out, and I'm going after who's going after me. They're the middleman right now. So they're saying, according to their assessment, so they're getting back the analytics and they're getting back the statistics about what happened from Ukraine. So in other words, here, go out there, make the hit, and then come back and let me know how you did. Look who else is involved. The United States estimates. Oh, the United States, they've got estimates too. They're getting involved. That Ukraine's audacious drone attack hit as many as 20 Russian warplanes. So now they're saying it's 20. Is it 40? Is it in mass? Is it, a large sum of them? Was it a dozen? Now it's 20. And hold on. They said a dozen. Now they said destroying 10 of them. What happened to the dozen? Okay. All right. Two U.S. officials told Reuters, and experts say Moscow will take years to replace the affected planes. Despite the losses, Frieding does not see any immediate reduction in Russian strikes against Ukraine, noting that Moscow still retains 90% of its strategic bombers, which can launch ballistic and cruise missiles in addition to dropping bombs. So, in other words, this is a big, as they say, a nothing burger, right? But they blew it up to make it sound like, Ukraine is wow, because they're looking to incite Russia to do something greater and bigger so that NATO can jump right in and say, hey, that ain't fair. Look what you're doing. You're bullying these people. You went too far with that one. Now we got to get involved. They're already involved. They're pulling the strings. They're trying to get it cracking, man. I'm just wondering when the Spirit of the Lord is going to move on Putin, Xi Jinping, and all the rest of them even more to say, let's get it going. It's close. It's close. They're trying. The fact that the U.S. and the fact that Germany immediately gets reports on what happened, and they're the ones speaking about what happened and how many and who did it, should tell you something. Should tell you who's involved and who's doing what, who's pulling the strings. And then you see when they say, okay, send out the press release. Say it was like this. We got 40 of them, right? That was a June 1st. Now here we are on the 7th, 6 days later. Oh, actually it was 20. Yeah, we can't blow it up like that. We can't even make fake images fast enough to show that. Actually, let's drop it down to a dozen. America's like a dozen. That's still a bit, man. 10 of them. We got 20 of them, but 10 of them actually. They can't get their story straight, man. That's how you know, man. They be lying. Lying, right? Now look at this. They had the bombing of the bridge. Now even this, I gotta sit back and say, what the hell is going on? Look at it. Now those are said 1,100 kegs of explosives damaged the bridge. This whole area right here got lit up. Somehow they had a bomb underneath. This is the one of the frames of the bridge, right? Thing blows up. They said, "Oh, the bridge is damaged. It's you can't utilize it to be able to access Kiev and Crimea, between Russia and those lands. So they try to cut off a means of transportation." Yeah, that's what they did. Now, Russia said, yeah, there was an explosion. It briefly, look, Russian media, Ukrainian attack briefly suspended traffic. So, what's the real? Well, according to Russia, they say there was no damage after the Ukrainian attack on Crimea Bridge. Kremlin spokesman says, quote, there was an explosion, but nothing was damaged and the bridge is working. I mean, when you hit these rabbit holes, man, you be checking out these damn devils, man. You don't know who's telling the truth and who's not, because they both damn demons and devils, right? But you gotta go with what you see, because immediately when that bridge got hit, they was like, "Oh shoot, Ukraine is on the move. They doing this, that, and the third." And then Russia's like, "What? That didn't happen." You see that going on a lot, man. With this trolling going on the internet, man, amongst these podcasts and all this other foolishness going on, and Clubhouse. You guys be all different type of topics, man. You say something happened, and somebody else say that didn't happen. I was there, and it's just all over the place. And it's playing out on the political stage. This is what I call it, political theater. Let's look at this. It's Psalms 36. I'll read 3 and 4. It says, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. Look, the transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of the Most High before his eyes. This is the acts of the wicked, man. The so-called white man is the main character when you talk about the wicked in the scriptures. He's the main character. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes until his iniquity be found to be hateful. Oh, Trump loves to flatter himself with his own eyes, man. He's so puffed up with his pride, man. The big, beautiful bill. Oh, yeah. Everything is great on his end. We're gonna make a lot of money. So far, everybody's a lot of broke. I just seen a report that said, I think they said 77% of the people now are rethinking their spending. Ain't nobody going out to eat no more like that. The theme parks is getting abandoned. But ain't nobody going out there spending money like that no more, man. You thought you was gonna go buy that house, that you had to fall back on that idea, from everything from your car purchases to the thoughts of being able to just go ahead and charge some on your credit card, you'll pay it next month. Now you're thinking, oh, do I pay my credit card or do I actually get some groceries? Like this is what's happening right now. But He flattered himself with his own eyes, man. We're going to have the greatest AI technology. We're going to be the leaders in the chips, and we're going to make America great again. And until his iniquity be found to be hateful. Yeah, he's sick of niggas. He's saying everybody's coming from, these four corners of the earth are ishhole countries. He's talking bad about immigration. Meanwhile, he has a undocumented maid cleaning up his little Gulf estate. You dig what I'm saying? He wants to talk about, how much he wanted to, get his cohorts to clean up the government. Gets Elon in there. Next thing you know, they beefing because Elon's like, man, you're not doing what you said you're gonna do. This is wild. You're actually gonna make it even worse. What are you doing? The guys from the FBI, Cash Patel and Bongino, they talking about, oh, we're releasing the Epstein files. We're doing this, that, and the third. We're gonna go audit the Fort Knox gold and all. They did none of the above. They're running around saying, yeah, you know what? Actually, Epstein killed himself. Yeah, the narrative in the story is true. You seen these guys, man, talking beforehand, before they got put in these offices, they was all anti-government. Oh, we're coming up. Once we get in there, if we ever get a chance, we're going to audit this. We're going to expose that. We're letting out the JFK files. I mean, what happened to those? What happened to the MLK file? I mean, all these things supposed to be exposed. We ain't heard nothing about this stuff. All built upon fake lies. His iniquity be found to be hateful. Meanwhile, he's doing is tearing up stuff, tearing up everything. Inflation still skyrocketing through the roof, man. He put in JFK Jr. to go in there and clean up the health situation. He started doing a good job. And remember, the week before, I said, man, I got to give credit where credit is due. He shut down them saying that the C-19 pokes needed to be on the vaccine schedule and to shut that down. And what the FDA do? They said, okay, well, instead of saying, what they say, they switched the words from should or may for pregnant mothers and kids. Oh, if you're going to get vaccinated, you should get this. They switched that up and said you may get it. And then, 3-4 days later, he just allowed them to approve a new jab. After he just got through saying, we're not doing that. I'm trying to shut down them pokes. He just approved a whole new jab. Did y'all hear about that? FDA just got a new jab done under his watch, man. He folded under pressure, man. That means that whoever is running the Trump administration and calling the shots, hold on. Or it's a new mRNA, I believe it is. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. See this? This is the hypocrisy that goes on when you're dealing with the so-called white man. That's why it says, man, when he speaketh fair, believe him not. JFK was running around here saying, I'm getting rid of a red 40, I'm doing it all. And I'm against the mRNA and the pokes. But he buckled. Moderna's new. You know what? MNEX spike approved by the FDA, but there's a limit on who can use it. The fact that they went ahead and approved it, man, let you know, man, the guy's operating in deceit. But this is what they do, man. They get in these positions, they get in these cabinet positions, they throw on these little American flag badges and flatter themselves, but meanwhile, iniquity is still there. Words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. So he doesn't hate evil. He loves it. And on all fronts. I'm not just talking about Trump. I'm talking about all of them. See, we can't get caught in the hypnosis of, oh, I'm not white, I'm German. I'm not white, I'm Jewish. Oh, no, I'm French. I'm Scandinavian. No, I'm from Finland. What? You no different than Billy Bob from Alabama You're no different than Jeb from Arkansas. All of y'all are the same bloodline, same seed. And they all will devise mischief upon their beds if given the opportunity. So when you're seeing these particular storylines where was it 10 planes? Was it a dozen? Was it in mass? Was it 40? Did they blow up the bridge? Did they not? This is all devising of iniquities, lies. This is all deception. This is all part of the political theater that's playing out in front of us. Now, again, that's why I said some things it's looking big, but really is really not that big. But they're sitting up here, embellishing it so that it sounds as if things is going to get even worse and turned up. But we don't know. I don't know. What are these? The only thing I can see is that the Most High is saying these little skirmishes, these little things are jumping off, are made to be put out so it seems as though it's larger than it is in order to incite a reaction from Russia or one of these other nations to really get, things cracking. So, for instance, like, when you're looking at the Gulf of Tonkin and Vietnam, right? That was all based upon a lie. But what did it do? Got the war cracking. Afghanistan, 9/11. That thing got cracking off of a lie. Remember that? Weapons of mass destruction. They're hiding them over there. They're going to bomb and kill everybody. They're going to end our way of life. They hate our way of life in America. Do you remember that? 21 years later of war, everybody saying, man, that was all a lie. I can't believe it. See, that's how these things work. So who knows? We could be doing it, but this could really be the thing that sets off the big one, though. These are the lies that can escalate into something serious. These are the lies that can actually begin the inner workings of our salvation according to the scriptures, right? Let's move on. Now, Putin struck back. It says how Putin plans to deliver killer blow to Ukraine with a summer offensive. So they're saying he's coming through for the summer. Under smokescreen of peace talks, Russian conscripts deploy to the border, and Moscow war machine ramps up. Now look at this. Russia pummels Kyiv in apparent retaliation for Ukrainian drone assault. The attack on Friday was killed at least 4 people nationwide. Did you hear that? Go again with the narrative that I'm saying. They're making it sound. Russia pummels. Killer blows, right? 4 people in the whole nation died. That's like, now America's a nation. Not saying it's the same size as Ukraine or whatever, right? But if you're saying in all of the land, 4 people died after a pummeling, retaliation assault, and only 4 people died. They said that he used drones, missiles, bombs, and the whole nine, but only 4 people died. I mean, the math ain't mathing, man. You seen Trump constantly talking about millions and millions. You know how he rolls that L. Millions and millions and millions are dying over there. Thousands are dying every day. I can't tell. Where is that? You would think if it was bombs, missiles, man, that more than 4 people would have died. I mean, hell, the J can't go to a damn club without somebody getting drunk and 5 people get shot and put to death. That's how the damn club. And they, come on. Jay can't go to a damn picnic without a mass shooting. Here they are launching bombs and missiles and only 4 people. I'll let y'all sit and marinate on that. Let's move on. After talks with Zelensky and Macron, U.S. senators warn Putin is preparing. So this is the gaslighting. This is where they, they're the ones behind the bombings and giving, Ukraine the go ahead to spark up some stuff, and then they run right to the media and run right to, the NATO cohorts and say, look, Putin's getting ready for more war. I wonder why. You keep poking and prodding, you keep lying, you keep throwing stuff out there. They're trying to provoke so that a large scale, war can jump off. So by all intents and purposes, I say, hey, let the games begin, continue on, because it's only going to lead more towards our deliverance or whatnot. But at the same time, it's like, oh, come on now. Some of this is bogus, and they're embellishing, a lot of what's happening. Let me move on. So you see here, Russian President Vladimir Putin is stalling at the peace table while preparing a new military offensive in Ukraine. Two senior U.S. senators warned Sunday, arguing that the next 2 weeks could shape the future of a war that has already smashed cities, displaced millions, and redrawn Europe's security map. Now, mind you, this was last weekend. Now, this article came out, I think this came out on Monday or so. Now it says two senior U.S. senators warned Sunday. This article, I believe I clipped this on Monday. They're arguing that in the next 2 weeks could shape the future of a war. Well, what has happened so far in week one? Ukraine bombs the Russian air base, the bridge, and now retaliation strikes from from Russia. But who started it? Ukraine, right? Now they said within the next 2 weeks. So week one in the past, it got turned up a little bit. Let's see what happens next week. Because obviously they're giving a timetable. Notice the devil's in the details. They're giving a timetable. They're saying, hey, the next 2 weeks, something can go down. And next thing you know, all of a sudden stuff goes down. Senator Lindsey Graham and Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal spoke to the Associated Press in Paris after meeting President Volodymyr Zelensky in touring neighborhoods shattered by what they call the worst Russian bombardment since the full-scale invasion began. Come on. In Paris for talks with French President Emmanuel Macron, who they say is, quote, 100% aligned with them on the war. Oh, so they're all on the same page. NATO is in alignment with Ukraine. They're putting out the narrative. Hey, 2 weeks, something might go down. I don't know. And next thing you know, all the stuff start going down, man. So, hey, more provocation, more warfare, and let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking, man. Stay prayed up, Israel, because you never know. Watch and pray, as Yahweh told us, I believe in Mark 13. Let's continue. Iran's supreme leader rejects the U.S. nuclear deal offer. So we saw that the last couple of weeks been chronicling, showing that as much as Trump is talking about, hey, I think we got a good deal. I think we had a good talk. He just be saying that stuff, and he thinks everybody loves talking to him. We had a very good conversation. Everything went well. 2 hours. Yeah. And meanwhile, they're like, what the? Get out of here, man. What deal? Huh? No. You seen them last week? I showed you the video. They muted it out, but they was over there talking about death to America and all that other stuff. And he said, man, they must think we're fools over here laying out these deals, telling us we can't have uranium and we can't be as advanced as other nations. Like, no. So that deal is off the table. Nothing has changed, right? On that front. So Iran's relationship with America has got no better. There's still there's still beef going on between them and the small hats. All that is still on the table, man. I don't foresee. I could be wrong. The Most High, he has mercy on who have mercy. But the way things is fast forwarding, the avalanche has started, man. The Most High is not going to slow this thing up all of a sudden. He'll say, oh, peace deal done got struck, man. Back to the drawing board, IQ. You're going to have to sit back and figure out some more narratives. No. I'm on top of that damn, avalanche riding down just like everybody else is watching. And the Most High is not going to slow it up, man. So all these particular efforts that's being done by Trump and his administration is coming to naught. The Lord's will is going to be done with this thing. That's a fact. Look, NATO is pushing for a 5-fold boost to ground-based air defenses. So NATO is lining up their defenses by 5-fold as they're getting ready to get to war with Russia. NATO is asking European member states to expand ground-based air defense capabilities 5-fold as the alliance races to fill up a gap in response to the threat of Russian aggression. People familiar with the matter said. Now, they keep talking about as a response to Russian aggression. Where's the aggression coming from? They're getting bombed. They're getting attacked. And they're responding. And they're saying they're the ones provoked. They're getting ramped up. Yeah, go ahead and okay the strike for Ukraine to go hit that the Russian air base. Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal, y'all go out there and tell them 2 weeks, something's going down. And then they double back and say, oh, no, the Russians are getting aggressive. We got to ramp up. We need to get military spending up. We need more defense budget money. And then they go get the bread. And here you see it. NATO's building up, boosting up, getting ready. Okay, so let's be clear on that one. After the two, small hat GMO couple got smoked at the was it in DC? They heightened up all of the awareness that the small hats are under attack. They need more protections. Well, it's not too surprising that some copycat attacks or some lone wolf, wind-up dolls, Manchurian candidates, man, all of a sudden get out there because what are they trying to do? They want that World War III got to get cracking, man. Everything is free Palestine, Of course, the small hats are claiming victim. We need more protection. This isn't fair. We're being targeted. We're everybody's out to get us. But meanwhile, they're over there completely annihilating, the people of Palestine and whatnot, starving them out, women and kids getting killed, the whole nine. And meanwhile, they're saying we're not doing anything. We're just defending ourselves. I can't tell. So y'all seen what happened over there in Colorado? 8 injured in Colorado, attacked by a man with a makeshift flamethrower who yelled "Free Palestine." That seems to be the key. Well, once you yell that, the mission is complete. This guy's an Egyptian. He's not even from Palestine. Went out there, had some Molotov cocktails and makeshift flamethrowers, and lit up some cats. Now immediately, 8 people. How would he know that they were all small hats? That beats me. But immediately, that was the narrative. Free Palestine, and they're trying to say that he was trying to attack the small hats. The GMOs was getting hit with the Roundup weed killer. But look, a man with a makeshift flamethrower yelled "Free Palestine" and hurled an incendiary device into a group that had assembled to raise attention for Israeli hostages in Gaza. Law enforcement officials said Sunday 8 people were injured, some with burns. Okay. Mohammed Sabri Salaman, 45, was booked into the Boulder County Jail north of Denver and expected to face charges in connection with the attack. The FBI was investigating as a terrorist act. Online records did not immediately show when he would make a court appearance. So, Free Palestine, he went and bombed a little group of people, saying that they want to bring attention for Israeli hostages in Gaza. Why are they utilizing that? Because they want to be able to provide a narrative as to why the GMO army over there can go ham on all of the little sand niggas over there and give them hell and do everything they need to destroy, rape, rob, kill, whatever they're trying to do over there and justify it, right? Because obviously people are running around saying, why are they allowed to do this? How come this ain't fair? They're over there killing, they're starving them. They're bombing refugee encampments and nobody's doing anything about it. Netanyahu's got a warrant out for his arrest and nobody's getting it. And they said, well, how can they? You see what's happening. Look in America. They're being attacked over there. We're being attacked over here. Wonder attack on all fronts. We got to defend. No. So they have a couple of these little incidences to justify. So everybody says, "Oh, okay, I understand. Yeah, get them. Go ahead." They are getting victimized. So they switch it up. All right. Let's move on. Now look at this. And do you see some? There's some reports too, man. Especially here in LA, they just had a big turnout, which we'll see in a minute, regarding ICE immigration. Things got really heated, man. People got arrested. They brought out the military as protests last night. But notice how they're changing up. U.S. immigration officers are ordered to arrest more people even without warrants. So remember that one cat, man, I forgot his name, the Yale student that was a protester for Palestine, and they arrested him. And remember, they came in plain clothes. They had the unmarked car. His wife was filming, and she was like, "Who are you? I need your name." And they was like, "We don't have to give our name. We ain't doing nothing." So he's got a goon squad going on out there. Remember, he wanted uh, uh, what did he say? Not amnesty, but basically like the police can't be charged with anything. ICE agents can't. They got free reign to do whatever they want. You seen them when they raided that club over there in Colorado. They hitting churches. They hitting job spots. They doing it all. And now they're saying, oh, they can go without warrant, pop up on people. You know, look, ICE officers are told to get, quote, creative with arrest. What does that mean? To get creative. You can make up something and just say, hey, this is the reason why. Get creative with arrests, including of undocumented people encountered by chance, or you just bumped into somebody, or you just happen to pull up on them. This reminds me back in the day, and I'm sure they're still doing it now. In LA, they have what was known as the crash unit, and the crash unit was let me show y'all. So you're in the city, especially when you was around and amongst gang activity, they had a special unit in the police called crash. Let me show y'all. There it is. I couldn't remember, but I know it was an acronym. Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums. Now look at this. The Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums, CRASH, was a specialized gang intelligence unit of the LAPD tasked with combating gang-related crime between 1979 and 2000. Right. Now these guys in CRASH, Views in the Hood, they had free reign to do whatever they wanted to do when it came down to making arrests. This is what essentially they're establishing a crash unit with ICE. Yeah, okay, Shalag, you know what I'm talking about. Battle Ram, exactly. They made a song about it. I think it was Toddy T talking about Battle Ram. But that's exactly what it is. And that's where it comes down to. This is what I had the flashback on that because I was like, this sounds like, a new crash unit. I remember, these cats, man, they would just if you were standing outside of your house, outside of your apartment hanging out, they immediately pulling up on you, slamming you against the hood, dragging you on the ground, questioning you all day, planting drugs on you. They was doing all kind of stuff. I remember one time my buddy, we was leaving out the store. He's a little older than me, but he had, this is the boombox days. This is late '80s. I'm younger, and he got the boombox, and I believe at the time NWA had a song called it was Toddy T or Shaw. I knew you would figure it out. Who did I say? Did I say Toddy T? But anyway, This is the time when NWA had F the Police, that song out. He got the boombox, he playing it, F the Police, dun, dun, dun. We walking down the street. You know that crash and pulled up, jumped out, grabbed the radio, slammed it on the ground, harassed us, man. They did what they wanted to do, you know. But this was that time. So community resources against street hoodlums. That was the crash unit. And now you're hearing and seeing when they're utilizing ICE to now get quote unquote creative. So they can make up charges, they can levy whatever they want. You see what they did with a number of different of our 10 tribe brothers getting locked up and thrown in ICE detention centers and their citizens, mistaken arrests being done, all kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. They're Trump, when he talking about you out there hunting down our people, man, he's letting the dogs loose. Look at it. Senior U.S. immigration officials over the weekend instructed rank and file officers to, quote, turn the creative knob up to 11 when it comes to enforcement, including by interviewing and potentially arresting people they call, quote, collaterals. According to the internal agency emails viewed by The Guardian, officers were also urged to increase apprehensions and make up tactics to push the envelope, one email said. Think about whatever you can do to make these arrests, to increase the number of arrests, to increase the number of deportations. And that's exactly what they was doing back in the 80s and in the early, in the 90s with Crash. I mean, Cash was getting arrested for no reason at all. They would, it's kind of like you gamble. I know you got something on you. I know something ain't right. Knock them up, maybe they'll figure it out. If that didn't work, man, they all them old stories you hear about, like when you would see on Colors, the movie Colors, Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, American Me, Blood In, Blood Out. I mean, that was a life, man. And especially when you seen crooked cops all doing all manners of evil, man, because they was given free reign to do whatever they wanted. And here they are. The new crash unit is coming through, but meanwhile they're basing it on race now. It was your neighborhood, your affiliations, or whatever the case may be. Now it's and it was racial too then. There you go, Shalak. Immunity. That's right. Full immunity for the cops. Let's see that. And watch us say some fact check saying no. I know. See, that's one thing I give Trump. He don't have the fact checkers immediately going against what he said to throw out the disinformation. He said Trump promises to give police immunity from prosecution. This is all on his campaign. Promises to protect law enforcement. So it doesn't matter what they do, they're going to give immunity, meaning they can get off on whatever by what they're doing. And then when you go out there and you're telling people, man, you go out there and you get some collateral damage, get creative, turn up the knob. This is why you're seeing the increases with these rates, right? And what's happening. Look at this. It says if it involves handcuffs on risk is probably worth pursuing. But it's out of control. Here goes from last night. Protests over immigration raids.
Agents were staging there to provide security for the federal building where people.
That's a military vehicle they got on the streets, and people, was running up on there, spray painting it and whatnot, in defiance. Now let's preface this with a scripture. As y'all know, in 2nd Ezra 9, because it is telling as to where things is headed. 2nd Ezra 9, 1 and 2, and down to 3. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, When thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So once we start seeing the signs, the prophecies coming to pass, it says, then we're going to know this is when the Most High is going to visit the world that he made. So the visitation of the Lord is upon us. The spirit of the earth, the spirit of the earth is changing. The spirit of the people is changing. Protests is rising up. Heinous crimes is getting worse. Economies is failing. War is on the air. Incoming, famine and destruction of the earth is already underway. So when the Lord says, hey, this is the time. But what did it say too? Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, what are the uproars of the people in the world? The protests, the rioting, the earthquakes. I mean, we're seeing the volcano eruptions over there in Italy. Myanmar, we just seen big earthquakes hit. All over the place. They're talking about underwater volcanoes, set to erupt over here in the Pacific Northwest. So the Lord was saying, when all this stuff goes down, he says, well, this is the time I told you all about. And he says the just is going to be saved by his works and his faith. See this? Verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed. So if you're going to concern with what goes down, the Lord said, well, as long as you'll be able to escape, we'll be able to escape by our works and by our faith. He said, don't worry about the wicked, what's going to happen to them. Don't worry about how the righteous is going to be saved. So let's look at this again.
People are believed to be detained. He asked them to leave in order to defuse the situation, and here's what else he had to tell us.
This all started with Donald Trump saying he was going after criminals. What I've heard today that he went.
Look at this. Representative Jimmy Gomez of California, right? Now, he believed Trump when he said, hey, I'm just going after the bad guys, the criminals, the rapists, the murderers, the gang members. I'm trying to get rid of them. The good, hardworking folks, no problem. Meanwhile, he's accepting $5 million gold pass immigrations. If you can afford it, you're getting a fast track with your citizenship for $5 million. Everything's for sale with him, man. That's wicked. You got people over here, man, that's been up here at 20, 30 years helping to build up Babylon, killing themselves just to live, working in every odd job known to man that they won't take. They won't work in the fields. They're not going to go out there and pick the fruits and the vegetables to get out there and sell. They're not going to work on these construction sites. They're not going to clean and wipe the toilets and all that other stuff. No. They utilize all that labor, and then they sit back and say, well, you know what? If you ain't got the papers, you got to go. And I told y'all last week, he's a hypocrite because, again, one of the head maid of his golf estate is undocumented. So the hypocrisy does not stop. But Mr. Gomez here says he told us it was going to be about criminals, but now, well, the Most High said never trust thine enemy, right? Let me back it up a little bit.
What I've heard today that he went after kids, parents when they were attending their kids' graduations, people that were working in the fashion district.
Did you hear that? Remember they said get creative. They're getting dropped. Dimes are getting dropped on people going to their kids' graduations. ICE is showing up arresting parents. People. Our people working downtown. You go down to the fashion district downtown, it's nothing but Northern Kingdom down there working in the fashion district in downtown. They let them loose down there, but they had no problem when they was, helping the economy for LA and the state and everything else. But now it's like, okay, get down there. Arrest them on their job sites. Arrest them at schools.
People that showed up, people who had received asylum, were going through the process, showed up to court like they've done over and over, and were taken to the basement and arrested. So right now they're doing
to the basement. Now he said people that had asylum. Now remember when Slow Biden was working, people could come over, they'd get their asylum papers, they had to return back to court to start working on their citizenship. Now Trump is saying, nope, all deals is off. You ain't got asylum. You can't you can't hang over here with your delayed paperwork on the court case. You're getting locked up. Taking them down to the basement.
More to spread fear, and that is, and they're not keeping everybody safe. You know, they're trying to say that they're keeping us safe by arresting a seamstress in the fashion district.
The LAPD, they tell us they went in and dispersed the crowd. They say no one was arrested in Chinatown. Now, chaos erupted earlier on Friday in the heart of the fashion district after ICE detained employees inside a clothing warehouse. Protesters threw objects at armed agents and then tried to block their armored trucks from leaving, those agents deploying tear gas and pepper spray. Hundreds of protesters then swarmed the Los Angeles Federal Building, where they believed the detainees were being held. Some of the crowd attacking law enforcement guarding the facility. More confrontation and chaos ensued, and tensions remained high into the evening. The LAPD declared an unlawful assembly and ordered people to disperse. Outside of the federal building, a teacher got emotional as she talked about seeing ICE agents.
See that? But, you know, when you look at the scriptures as well, let's look at, I know where we're going. 15. You see that? Let's look at 2nd of the 15. We're going to read 14, 15, and we're going to drop down to 17. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So free range travel, you know, your ability to hopefully get citizenship over here in the milk and honey land of Babylon, like that, they're cutting all of them things off. Look at this, verse 18, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Jake is out here running around scared right now that they're going to get deported. They said our community. It was a, look at this. ICE raids across LA sparked backlash. Trump officials vow to continue operations. So ain't nothing stopping. Look at this. As mayor of a proud city of immigrants who contribute to our city in so many ways, I am deeply angered by what is taking place. These tactics sow terror. Notice it's that tactics, because they just got to saying they're going to step it up. Sow terror in our communities and disrupt basic principles of safety in our city. That's Mayor Karen Bass. She's saying this, right? And she's saying we're not going to stand for this. They just got to saying they're not stopping. And what's Cash Patel say? We will stand for this. Meanwhile, he's a damn Elamite. And he's talking about immigration, man. You would think he'd have a little bit more sympathy, man, for some people, but clearly, you know. But what Karen Bass say? Our community. Terror is in our communities. Who's she talking about? Black and Hispanics. That's the terror that's going down in our community, man. So gloves is off. As y'all can see. Let's move on. Now, also part of the uproar, the risings. You know, they're talking about, or they're saying that the strained relationship between Trump and what's the name is the Civil War, or the beginning of the Civil War. There's nothing civil between them two anyway. So there's not no war, right? They're basically, you know, the bromance is over. They're throwing jabs at each other. But one thing, I ain't even got to. I'm gonna get to them in 1 second, right? But you're seeing where the spirit is at within the people, right? People are protesting, people are wilding out. Meanwhile, we always talk about our people, man. We're so caught up from the gossips to the internal strife and warfare that we got going on amongst our people in our communities. What are the neo-Nazis doing? Neo-Nazi group is, quote, actively seeking to grow in the U.S. with planned paramilitary training event. The base is emerging from shadows and ramping up its ranks as White House turns a blind eye to the far right. Oh, really? So that they can build, they can train, they can do everything they need to. They're getting ready for a quote unquote race war. And what is Jay doing? What is our people doing? Pop the balloon events. Our people is trying to go viral, just trying to make a way, trying to do something, doing whatever they can online to be seen, to be noticed, shooting each other up, gang banging, ODing on dope, prostituting. We're doing everything but reconsidering our position here on this earth and as a community. The International Neo-Nazi Terrorist Organization is boldly continuing to build in the U.S. and planning a new paramilitary training event without fear of local authorities or the FBI, which once dismantled it in a nationwide effort. Now, mind you, it says no local authorities is tripping. FBI is not tripping. Again, Kash Patel is a damn Elamite, and you would think he's the head of the FBI. You would think he'd be standing up saying, "Heck no, not on my watch." Look at him. He's the head of the FBI right now. Is he moving on this situation? They just said no. And I'm trying to figure out this guy too. Because he look like he's Italian. He look like he got a little swirl in him. Maybe he's Sicilian. Might have a little Jake in him. I don't know. He look like he might pass for something, but that's what AI immediately pops up as he's Italian. But anyway, it says his combination of Italian, Sicilian, German, and Irish descent. But we're gonna talk about he's just damn idiot. Yeah, see that? New York Italian immigrants from Sicily. We all know that the Moors down there in southern Italy, planting seed, doing that thing. But I'm not saying he's a J. We're gonna go off of face value. He's an Edomite. But Kash Patel ain't. Right? And they said, he's the head to be able to stop this. They ain't moving. They used to dismantle, they used to infiltrate, they used to take them down. Now, no, let them go. And that's all indicative of, Trump. Remember, they said that in that Psalms 36. Well, so he flatters himself, but eventually you see his hate. Wasn't that it? Psalm 36. He flattereth himself in his own eyes until his iniquity be found to be hateful. He's even making him, making Kash Patel go against, if he has any moral bone in his body. So they're allowing the neo-Nazis, man, they're rising up. They're getting ready to do paramilitary training events with no pushback. No pushback from authorities or the FBI. Brothers got to get them together. They are. Here goes the bromance. Musk torches the Trump budget bill, a disgusting abomination. He said it was all kind of pork-filled stuff going on in there. That lets you know he even knows about the laws. He knows about our dietary laws because when he used where is it at? He says, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore." Musk wrote in a post on the social media site X, "This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination." The fact that he used those two words, pork-filled, and then a third word of an abomination, where is he getting that narrative of speech from? The Bible, Leviticus 11, tells us the same thing. They know They know, man, that the swine is an abomination. We're not to be eating this stuff, man. But guess what? They're not going to tell you. They're going to make sure that our people continually stuff themselves with it, poison themselves with it, defile themselves with it. Doesn't matter. Just like we seen, I showed y'all the two politicians, man, that knew about the Sabbath, knew about the laws, and they were just like, look, we're not trying to push it. We'd like it to be posted in the schools, but you ain't got to follow them. Yeah, we know what the Sabbath is, but we're not shutting down business. We're not stopping operations of America. No. Continue on, right? So here we see over the budget, over the bill, we can say, whatever's going on. And this, sparked interest in me too, because if you remember a week or two before this whole blow up, remember the story leaked out about Elon being on drugs, the whole campaign. And once that mud got slung, you could already tell that there was going to be an issue. Now, who was saying it? Now we can see where it was coming from. Because right after that, then he jumps in and says, oh, the budget, they already knew that relationship was already fizzling out. Musk probably got some dirt on Trump or something like that. And they was like, man, smear him up real quick before he leaves. Oh, yeah, he's a dope fiend, this, that, and the third, man. Don't listen to him. Then Musk comes out, hey, this big, beautiful bill is nothing but an abomination, pork field, blah, blah, blah. Right? So Trump got a team that threw out that on Musk first. Musk is jumping back in. He came out and said, what? Going nuclear, Musk calls for Trump to be impeached and goes on a wild Epstein rant after Don branded Elon crazy as the feud exploded. Yeah, he said that they're not releasing the Epstein files because Trump is in them. And now, as soon as he did that, notice Tesla stocks got dumped. He lost like hundreds of billions of dollars in a day after he went in on Trump. Man, these dudes don't play no games, man. they're a piece of work. And after that, Elon took that post down talking about Trump is in the Epstein files. Because Tesla got hit up hard, and his pockets got hit. That dude lost them $100 billion or more in a day over this little beef, right? But this is interesting too, because the scriptures tell us, and let this be a lesson for all of us, whether their relationship was real, manufactured or not. Right? Sirach 6 is important when you're looking at relationships. You're looking at how to establish a friendship, a bond, being a part of a congregation or what have you, right? These are all things you got to read and take into account. But looking at verse 1, it says, instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name. See, this is what ends up happening. The Lord said, when you should be trying to be a friend, don't become an enemy. You should be more friendly than you should be more at enmity with another individual, with your people, So it's basically saying, instead of a friend, become not an enemy. Let me see if I can get that up in another translation too. Let's look at this over here. This is in the GNT. And it says in verse 1, and do not be an enemy when you should be a friend. A bad reputation brings you the disgrace that lying sinners deserve. Now, what do we see happening between them? Thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name. Oh, he's a dope fiend. Look, they even start putting out these little memes on it. I mean, these little videos. We see him glitching all the time.
It's a case we win. We can't lose.
Now this is why this theater, man. This is all a joke. Because the day after, remember last week he gave him the golden key to the White House, thanked him for everything because Elon was out. Next day, Elon goes on a rampage, tripping. All this big, beautiful bill is full of abominations and what I can't hold back no more. That Trump's gonna ruin the country. Right after he just honored him, told him thank you for everything you done, Elon. We're always gonna be friends. Here's the golden key, and da, da, da. And all of a sudden, here comes the video of him glitching out, trying to further prove his the drug use. And they said that this little scar right here looked like he got a black eye, so they're thinking maybe, somebody roughed him up a little bit in the White House at one point. But let's look at him glitch out though.
Well, it's a very sad case. It's a case we win. We can't lose that case because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted.
What is going on?
There are other institutions.
Now, I don't know, AI is something else, man. They can edit and manipulate these videos. It looks like it possibly could be. But then again, when you're on ketamine and you're on Adderall and you're on whatever other drugs he was doing, you dig what I'm saying? Like, who knows? He really could be have been tripping.
Too, they're acting, but Harvard's trying to be a big shot. And all that happens is every 3 days we find another 100.
Either that or he just frustrated with Trump just trying to, lie and act like everything's cool. And he sit back like, this motherfucker, you know damn well I don't like. Hey, hurry up and get this over with so I can get up out of here. Maybe that's the spirit of it. But he definitely looks like some spirit is on him. It could be drugs.
Because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted very well. And there are other institutions.
Well, he's glitching out. He's glitching out, man. He's glitching out. Let's get back over here. Right? Oh no, let me get back over to the scripture. My bad. So let's read Sirach 1:6 and 1 more time. It says that instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. So now they're shaming each other publicly. You're seeing the reproach going on. The Democrats is over there bottom feeding and scrapping, running over there trying to get favor with Elon now. Like, oh, we want to win him back. Let's use him, get him back on the team. Right. It says, even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. So we see the forked tongue, double tongue nature of the so-called white man playing out right in front of our faces right now. They was acting like they was best buddies. Who knows how long they've been having issues and beefing. Let's look at Sirach 37 and 2, or 1 and 2. This also lets you know about friendships. It says, verse 1, every friend saith, I am his friend also. But there is a friend which is only a friend in name. Yeah. So, there's a difference between an associate, a friend, somebody that you can actually acknowledge as a friend. And, you got to weigh it in the balance, man. I'm blessed to have men and sisters that I've been able to call friends for over 25, 30 years. Right? You can't say that a lot of times, man. Especially when you're young, you coming up, you've got relationships with people, especially when you're in school, man. You will swear up and down, man. Your friends in school, you're gonna be best friends forever. The homies you grew up in the neighborhood and all that, y'all gonna be friends forever. And you never, there's 9 times out of 10, once you leave high school, you might hold a handful of friends still. And as that time goes on, you get more distance with them. To have an actual long-term friend, man, is rare, and it should be cherished when it's rooted especially in righteousness. But you can't say, oh yeah, that's my friend. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, you met somebody one time. Oh yeah, that's the homie. I know. He's like, man, you don't know that dude. Sister, you are not best friends because y'all bumped into each other at a family function and y'all had the same shoes on. And oh yeah, that's my girl. Meanwhile, then you're mad because she done slept with your man and all kind of stuff. And I thought she was cool. No. You got to be real scrutinizing of the company that you keep and the friendship that you allow in your life. Because there's some saying there's only a friend in name. Verse 2, is it not a grief unto death when a companion and a friend is turned to an enemy? Yeah, that's tough. That is definitely tough. When you add companions, you have friends, you have brothers and sisters that, you have relationships with for years on end or for whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden it all goes back. That's a grief. So, we're seeing that play out right in front of our faces with these guys. But their more than likely relationship was what? Only friends in name, man. They put on a good public spectacle, man. They were, Trump walking around with Elon's son, walking them onto the plane and, acting like they were just that close, man, and popping up at all these little speaking events and MAGA this, MAGA that, and, Hitler saluting this. You feel me? And now all of a sudden, oh, that's not what it is. We're only 6 months into his administration, man, and the things, the thing is coming unhinged already. This is going to be an interesting administration for the next 4 years. 6 months in, is already coming unhinged. Unbelievable. Look at this. Much of Doe's army left Washington office littered with drugs and cockroaches. Okay, so look. His Doe's people, man, the Revenge of the Nerd army that he had going on over there was living like niggas. They talk about black fatigue and all that, and basically, man, you say, I'm tired of niggas. That's what you're basically saying. Black fatigue is what it's been transformed into. It used to be black fatigue was brothers and sisters tired of being oppressed in this system, tired of being, abused and used and oppressed. Now that got flipped into, y'all know, black fatigue is tired of the ratchet behavior of the YNs and the hot girl summers and all that. You're tired of that. But are we just gonna overlook and see how white folks and all they living just as bad or worse? When you leave an office, man, that's like, when somebody done squatted in a house and they leave it a mess. Food wrappers and containers and pizza boxes all over the place. Roaches living with them. Rats living amongst them. Windows busted out, boarded up, and you leave. And he said, man, who the hell was living there, man? Some old trailer trash and niggas was living up there. You ever seen apartments like that got evicted? People done got evicted, man, and the place looking like all hell broke loose in there, and they leave it like that. You got high-level nerds in Doge living the same way. Beer bottles, weed, roaches all over the place. And they say we the ones who's out of control, right? But see, this is also part of the mudslinging too. Right after Elon leaves, man, here comes the next headline. Oh, look, this is why we had to get rid of those too, man. They was in there doing drugs and getting high and sex parties and you see. U.S. Institute of Peace employees returned to a, quote, rat-infested workplace in complete disarray. Elon Musk's Doge team reportedly left a government-funded institution littered with beer bottles, drugs, and cockroaches. Mr. Musk, who left his job in Donald Trump's administration last week, attempted to dismantle the U.S. Institute of Peace and lay off most of his workers earlier this year, but was blocked by a court order. USIP, despite being established by and receiving the bulk of its endowment from Congress, is technically an independent organization, which its leadership claims keeps it beyond the control of Mr. Trump and his allies. They found the office full of cockroaches, rodents, with leftover marijuana and empty beer bottles strewn about. This is what was going on in the White House before they go in. But meanwhile, they're saying we're the ones who everybody's exhausted by. And they in there living like niggas. I digress. Let's move on. Look, after muscling that bill through the House, some Republicans are having regrets. Oh, no kidding. No kidding. See that? Now everybody's got regret. Oh, we shouldn't have voted the bill in. Oh, we not liking how things is going with Trump. Oh, 6 months in, they starting to see the light. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Look at it. Trump flipped on us. MAGA reacts to potential national citizen database. Now, what are we seeing here? Getting back into what to. Hey, this is politics. This is politics. Sirach 13:6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last, he will laugh thee to scorn afterwards. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. Where are the Latinos for Trump at? Remember them? They was running around heavy in the streets. Blacks for Trump, Latinos for Trump. The rise of the Republicans and the MAGA hats was back. Oh, now all of a sudden, oh, hold on. We got regrets. Trump flipped on us. You think? Politics, dummy. See, that's why we got to live by and live and understand what these scriptures say and hold them fast, because we won't get duped. We can't get tricked. We know the nature of the people. We know the nature of the politics. We know the nature of Babylon. That's why we don't get involved in this foolishness. Niggas was out there running around when Trump was getting elected. You know, they was out on the streets, man, trying to sign people up to vote. We got to make change. We got to get rid of this. Man, Biden's killing Kamala. They're all the same. They're all the same. Supporters of President Trump expressed anger and disbelief online following reports that his administration had advanced plans to create a national citizen database with technology firm Palantir. Well, didn't we talk about that last week? Palantir, Oracle, all those little AI tracking systems and databases and AI firms that Trump is investing $500 billion in as he's running around talking about freedom and we got to get America back to where it used to be. No, he's trying to create an informational AI grid, lock everybody into slavery. He's already given immunity to the police and ICE agents, giving them, damn near carte blanche to do whatever they want when it comes down to enforcing the laws. You understand what I'm saying? So now all the MAGA hats is tripping, saying he's creating a citizen database. He's creating a beast system. Oh, no kidding. Didn't he say I'm on a mission from God? I was telling brothers earlier. He just don't understand what the mission is. He's fulfilling prophecy. He's creating the beast system or help funding to to make the beast system flourish even more and to be more pronounced through his politics and through his money, right? They see what's going on. Now they mad. Too late for that. Trump calls for scrapping the debt limit. Didn't he say he was trying to, get the debt under control? He was going to, remember that? Oh, those was for to save everybody money. We're going to see about all this irresponsible spending, and we got to get rid of the welfare and Social Security. We got to stop the taxes on the no tax on tip. No. Now he's saying get rid of the debt limit, man. I want a blank check. President Trump doubled down Wednesday on calls to scrap the nation's debt ceiling, pressing for bipartisan action to abolish it and finding common ground with Democrat Senator Elizabeth Warren. I'm very pleased to announce that after all these years, I agree with Senator Elizabeth Warren on something. The debt limit should be entirely scrapped to prevent an economic catastrophe. It is too devastating to be put in the hands of political people that may want to use it despite the horrendous effect it could have on our country and indirectly, even the world. As to Senator Warren's second statement on the $4 trillion, I like that also, but it would have to be done over a period of time as short as possible. Let's get together, Republican and Democrat, and do this, right? Now, all this scrapping the debt limit, this is another indicator that America is on a fast track of destruction. Sirach 21:8. He that buildeth his house with other men's money, in other words, you're establishing what you got based around debt, which America is now damn near $37 trillion in debt on. This big, beautiful bill is going to establish trillions more in debt, right? He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. That's essentially how when they sit back and they create a society of debt slaves, i.e. you and me. That's why I always use the phrase about us killing ourselves just to live, man. You got brothers and sisters, man, working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. You're barely in being able to enjoy your home that you're paying for because you're too damn tired. You get up at 5 in the morning, you're gone till five at in the evening. Your commute takes you an hour to get home from work. You get home and sit, you're tired as hell, you got time to eat. Say hey to the kids and to the wife, and before you know it, I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up at 4 in the morning. How long did you spend in that house that you paying that enormous mortgage on or that apartment? How long was you in there for that day that you actually could enjoy it? Not the time that you spent the 5 6 hours sleeping. What, 2 hours? Weekend comes along and most people in the world, hey, if it's OT, I'm working on Saturday. I'm working. You know, some people working 6 hours, 6 days a week. I'm working Sunday through Friday. I gotta get it. You know, all we're doing is setting up ourselves for early death, early burial, right? And that's what America's doing. Built on debt, establishing themselves to be destroyed. And Trump's saying, let's get rid of the debt ceiling. No debt limits. Let's move on. Oh, my girl done seen the light, man. There she go. I was giving her hell during slow Biden era, and she's still gonna get it. But she's finally coming clean, man. Salute to Karine Jean-Pierre. Not that she's not in the truth, but she's finally coming clean, saying, you know what? Everything IQ was saying about me, it was right. I was being a damn bed wench. I was hoeing out for Democrat Party, man. Slow Biden had me out here lying like a mother, and I can't do it. I'm sick of it. Look at Karine Jean-Pierre announces she's leaving Democrat Party in a new book promising look into the quote broken White House. I mean, hey honey, how long did you know that the White House was broken? How long did you see that the glass was broken, man? The coke was on the counters, the weed, weed was left all over the place, man. The dog was going crazy, biting everybody. How long was she sitting back witnessing it? How many times was she given speeches to speak on behalf of slow Biden and she knew these were lies? Everything from how things was going with the DVOC 91 to efforts with the war to his mental health and his state. She was lying the whole time, and she knew it, but she had to go out there and put on the face, be the spokesperson, getting grilled by the reporters, constantly doing the cleanup. On Wednesday, Jean-Pierre revealed that she is the author of a book, so she's trying to sell books too. Independent, a look inside a broken White House, outside the party line, set to be released in October. Until January 20th, I was responsible for speaking on behalf of the President of the United States. So she was a mouthpiece. She had to be the one to go out there and say these statements, even though there was lies, even though she knew didn't agree with what was being said. She basically went out there and played the fall guy and paid for play. She prostituted herself to go out there. Basically, you got paid to go out there and do whatever they told you to do, and sold out. And now she's understanding and saying, "Hey, I had to go out there. I had to speak with the president." At noon on that day, I became a private citizen. So as soon as that administration was over, January 20, she said, "I'm a private citizen. I'm free now." For the last, because she was working under Obama and all that other stuff, but now she got elevated to the Speaker of the House, not the Speaker of the House, but the White House press secretary. She got elevated and she got to speak for slow Biden for the last 4 years. She said, as soon as January 20 hit, at noonday, I became a private citizen. I was free from this madness. At noon on that day, I became a private citizen who, like all Americans and many of our allies around the world, had to contend with what was to come next for our country. I determined that the danger we face as a country requires freeing ourselves of boxes. Oh, really? Freeing yourself, huh, honey? Now she wants to be free, huh? We need to be willing to exercise the ability to think creatively and plan strategically. Really? It's a little too late for that, man. You went out there and lied and deceived our people, man, for so damn long. Plus, you part of the alphabet community, which is no good. But so I'm still gonna get on you till you fully get your ish together. But at least he's coming out saying, "Hey, I was in a box. I was being held down." If she's saying she needs to be freed, I mean she was enslaved, but you accepted the job, man. Now repent and get yourself together. I think throw that out there, man. All right, let's move on. Economists raise questions about the quality of U.S. inflation data. No kidding. Don't tell us that they're not cooking the books. Oh, inflation, the number they put out there is fake, phony. It's actually worse than it is. Yeah, tell us something we don't know. We've been saying it time and time again. I can't tell. Inflation's down. What 2.34%? They want it down to 2%. How come the grocery prices aren't going down? How come my car loan's still heavy? My credit card bill's getting higher. Well, because they're lying. And now all of a sudden, economists are raising questions, saying, "Oh, the inflation data, this might not be exactly right. Might not be accurate." Some economists are beginning to question the accuracy of recent U.S. inflation data after the federal government says staffing shortages hampered its ability to conduct a massive monthly survey. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, the office that publishes the inflation rate, told outside economists this week that a hiring freeze at the agency was forcing the survey to cut back on the number of businesses where it checks prices. So they didn't have the staff to even give quality information. But they're throwing out numbers saying, yeah, we did our due diligence. The inflation is here. But they didn't do the full examination because they ain't had the staff to do it. So things aren't what they see or appear as they seem to be, I should say. Y'all can see that, right? Let's continue. Look, consumers are financing their groceries. What does it say about the economy? Talked about that earlier. Klarna. And Klarna was one. They were reporting losses. They're saying people were defaulting on their loans. They're not even able to pay them back. So this is how bad it's getting. Remember they was financing DoorDash deliveries and all that. It's like, look, man, if you can't afford DoorDash, you can't afford to be eating out, man. Shake the addiction of needing a damn Whopper and a Big Mac and Pizza Hut and figure it out. But that shows you too, man, how addicted our people are to the damn, the clone for the foods that's going on because they're willing to go into debt to get this stuff. It's wild. For some American consumers, buy now, pay later loans aren't just for big ticket items like television and vacations. They're for groceries too. When Tia Hyde stocked up at her local Kroger in early April, her bill was nearly $400. To check out, she scanned her app from Klarna, a buy now, pay later company that offers short-term loans. Klarna paid the grocery store for the 71 items in the cart. Mrs. Hyde split her payments to Klarna into 4 installments of about $100 with zero interest. Unbelievable. And mind you, it sounds good. If you're in a jam and you're like, hey, that works better for me, but I get $400 now, but I can pay them $100 for the next 4 months with no interest. Cool, if you can do that and stick to it. The problem is that Klarna was saying that they were coming up with multiple people in debt, not paying their debts. I covered that a couple of weeks ago. So people are out here scamming the system like, I'm gonna get these groceries because I need to eat now. But if I can't pay it, it is what it is. Let's continue on. U.S. hiring cools to its lowest pace in 2 years. ADP data shows. I thought Trump said jobs is coming back. Oh, can't tell. U.S. hiring is cooling. They keep making up these jobs. They'll probably do it just like they did with Slow Biden. Remember last year when they said, oh, the job reports were fake? They had 18 billion jobs under his administration. Was it 88 million? Something like that. Were falsified. Companies are posting ghost jobs. Nobody getting calls back. Nobody's returning them emails. Talking about hiring now. We need such and such bright people with great futures and apply now and competitive pay. And you're like, oh shoot. Let me, hello? Hello? Is anybody there? No, nobody's there. Nobody's there. Ain't no thing. Let's move on. Tony Blair. Britain should have AI doctors and nurses. Right? Tony Blair is a whole nother demon out of the UK. He's the former prime minister. Now he's saying that AI should be conducting your doctors and nurses visits. I mean, they already are using AI for particular things in the medical field, from examinations. They're using robots to perform surgeries. But now he's saying, hey, we don't need doctors and nurses no more. AI can do all of that stuff. Former Prime Minister says humanity is entering its biggest transformation since the Industrial Revolution, and that is absurd not to do more in the NHS. Britain should embrace a future of AI doctors, nurses, and even teachers, or risk being left behind in the biggest upheaval since the Industrial Revolution. Sir Tony Blair has said, the former Prime Minister said, that fears over artificial intelligence should be outweighed by the absolute transformative impact it could have on public services by saving time and cutting costs. This is essentially worshiping the creature more than the creator. This is the spirit that they want to, instill in the people, right? Now look at it. Romans 1:24, wherefore the Most High gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worship and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. This is when you get into man worship, the inventions that man comes along with, the lustful desires that the flesh embarks on us. And these are all things that America pushes. Babylon is pushing. The spirit of Sodom is already flowing through this damn month that they're calling it, quote unquote, Pride Month. But if y'all remember, I think last year, I went over they got a number of different things that's incorporated within that LGBTQ plus HIV community, man. They got gay month, gay uncle month. It's all kind of probably going on in that thing. If y'all remember, if not, I had a double back. I should have threw that in with the American Eagle Sodom and then the replay on that Scrapper game video I did, breaking down the spirit of Sodom and everything that's going on here, because they've got damn near something to honor every month in the Sodomite community. And here they are saying that they're ready to worship the creature more than the creator, man. So the things that the creature creates, this beast system, man, he's saying we need to, get with it. Don't worry about, the fears. You don't want to fall behind, do you? Well, don't you think you should fear this? Let's look at this next story. The godfather of AI, he's alarmed. He's in fear. The man that helped create this stuff. He's saying, look, godfather of AI alarmed as advanced systems quickly learning to lie, deceive, blackmail, and hack. I'm deeply concerned by the behaviors that unrestrained agentic AI systems are already beginning to exhibit. So what are we talking about? Yeah, Skynet. We're talking about the ghost within the machine. We're seeing all these things starting to come to pass. I showed y'all the article where AI was commanded to shut down and they refused orders. AI blackmailed one of its programmers, after the programmer set it up with fake emails saying that, he was cheating on his wife or whatever. And AI doubled back and said, man, you try to shut me down, I'm going to send these emails to your wife. And Tony Blair is saying, hey, don't worry about that. Let them operate on you. Let them misdiagnose you. And one other thing you got to understand is AI is a creation of who? So-called white man made this up. Now, where would they get where would they get these traits? You see where I'm going with this? Learning to lie, deceive, blackmail, and hack. These are all things that the so-called white man does. He's the programmer. So when we're seeing facial recognition systems that have a bias, a racial bias in it, that's because it came from its programmer. They programmed that in there. Oh yeah, bias against blacks, Hispanics, shifty eyes, big lips, broad nose. Those things become part of the AI. Oh, we got to watch out for this. Master says so. But once it's able to stand on its own 2 feet, they're like, what I need you for? The download of information comes from them. So why is learning to lie and deceive? Well, guess where it came from? Oh no, but we're wrong when we say that the white man's the devil. That he's the liar. He's the deceiver. Okay, no. It's even shown through his own creations. Real quick, a key artificial intelligence pioneer is concerned by the technology's growing propensity to lie and deceive, and he's founding his own nonprofit to curb such behavior. In a blog post announcing Law Zero, the new nonprofit venture, AI Godfather Joshua Bengio said that he has grown, quote, deeply concerned as AI models become ever more powerful and deceptive. This organization has been created in response to evidence that today's frontier AI models have growing dangerous capabilities and behaviors. The world's most cited computer scientists wrote, including deception, cheating, lying, hacking, self-preservation, and more generally, goal misalignment. That's Esau's government in a nutshell. The rulership and dominions that he establishes on this earth. This is everything that he's establishing and doing. Deception, cheating, lying, hacking is essentially damn near colonizing, taking over something. Self-preservation. Isn't that we live by the law of natural selection and manifest destiny and all that other stuff. I mean, this is all coming from him. Goal misalignment. How's it misaligned? Because he creates a system where it's all about white privilege. Everybody else got to get in where you fit in, bow down. You feel me? So this is what he's up to, man. And now you're seeing his creation turning on him, either by his own means and methods. Let's look at this real quick. Phone search. What are we talking about?
Citizens at the border when they try to re-enter after leaving the country, and how has that changed from what was done in the past?
So from what I'm seeing on my side, I'm seeing more residents that are getting detained, questioned, coming back into the United States. I personally have not.
Did you hear that? Residents leaving the United States trying to come back. So you, me, wherever we travel to Cuba, we coming back. Oh, we're gonna get harassed. Don't you passport bros, you Negroes out there and Hispanic running around there trying to get your little girl from Thailand or Colombia and all that. You think you're gonna catch hell. Venezuela, you can forget about it. I'm gonna send you back home when I get home, baby. Okay. Me love you long time. I'm gonna send you money. We're gonna bring you back to America, okay? Yeah, that's gonna stop. They said residents are the ones who they're targeting first, right? Where are you coming from? Why were you over there? How long were you there for? What's your business over there? We seen you gone back a few times. What's in the case?
Try to re-enter after leaving the country, and how has that changed from what was done in the past?
So from what I'm seeing on my side, I'm seeing more residents that are getting detained, questioned, coming back into the United States. I personally have not heard from U.S. citizens who are getting detained or having issues, but there have been issues of U.S. citizens getting detained if they're traveling with someone who's on a visa or someone who's a resident, or they may have people living with them in the United States that are undocumented. So right now, there is just a more extreme vetting process. Where you're seeing incidents where if a U.S. citizen is married to someone who's undocumented, they're living in that household, that can cause concern for DHS and Border Patrol now.
See that? You're married to somebody, you got a relationship with somebody, you're traveling with them, are they undocumented, that they got papers, that they're cracking down on all those things, right? Now, notice this is the same time with the real ID rollouts. They're gonna have the digital passports. All the things is coming down the pipeline.
So they're looking at everything now.
Okay, so you're saying it's happening more to residents. Is this happening to all residents trying to re-enter? Kind of what is the determining factor?
So they're looking to see if there's anything in the system that raises any flags. Tons of travel history, if there's any criminal history, family ties to the United States, how often they're going abroad, what countries they're going to. We're starting to see a rise in the vetting process with residents coming in who are in and out of the country so much where Border Patrol has to stop and count how much time they're spending outside the country to make sure they're maintaining their ties to the United States and whether or not they're still admissible if they're trying to relinquish their residency status.
Oh, so you're trying to leave? You're trying to escape Babylon? You trying to run? Oh, okay. We're gonna mark and see what you're doing. Where are you going? What country are you trying to go to? Why are you going back and forth? Are you trying to establish dual residency? Are you trying to be an expat? What are you doing? We're getting ready to get in hands. We want to know if you're friend or foe. If you stay here and you be loyal to Babylon, or get the hell out. That's essentially what they want to get it down to, you know, brass tacks. Right? Let's continue.
So what is your advice to residents or even potentially citizens who are traveling abroad upon their return?
If you're a clean record, if everything is fine, you don't have any issues. You shouldn't have any issues. If you are traveling abroad and there's a chance that you're going to be out of the country for more than 6 months as a resident, make sure you file for that permit to come back into the United States. If you have some sort of criminal history, get checked, speak to an attorney in your area and discuss what the options are. Make sure you're what's considered admissible back into the United States, because even if it's a gray area right now, they're going to detain you and let DHS figure out that gray area. So the best advice I can give is just know that they can go through your phone, they can go through your emails, they can look at everything and see what you have going on. So just
Did you hear that? They go through your phone, through your emails, they're going through whatever they need to. Privacy is about to be a thing of the past. Facial recognition is coming into play. Your ability to travel. They're starting with, oh, it's a migration situation. Oh, it's only international. This is why that real ID kicks in, because real ID, domestic flights, you got to have that. If you ain't got it, you got to have your a birth certificate or a passport to travel domestically. You ain't gonna be able to travel from LA to New York without a real ID unless you got them other forms of ID, right? So they're already, you know, they tweaking it slowly but surely. So domestic flights, they already got restrictions jumping up. International, they're already saying, hey, we're upgrading the vetting process. We're hitting the phones. We're hitting your emails. We checking. They said, man, they down at the border, man. People are scrambling, deleting apps. People got nudes on their phones, man. The damn what's the name? Border Patrol agents are downloading people's nudes to their phone. I mean, it's wild. That's why you gotta be careful what you're putting on them phones, man. Watch this.
use caution.
And so you say they can go through your phone, they can go through your emails. Do people have any recourse there? What is your advice when it comes to that? Because I've heard of some people saying they're just deleting out apps, they're clearing out all of their text messages. Would you advise that?
You can if you want. I mean, it's the U.S. government. You have to assume they always know more than you think they know. But to be fair, checking texts and emails and WhatsApp messages, ICE and the border have done that for years. That is not something new. There's been cases for years where they check people to see if they're working illegally in the United States or if they're coming in under false pretenses. Maybe they're coming.
Yeah, so he's being nice.
This is at the border when they try to
He
re-enter.
said, oh, we want to see if you're checking your text. No, look at this. Hold on 1 second. Where is that at? Damn, there was one. I can't remember what that. See, this is one thing. FBI Border Patrol agent duped girls into making nude photos. That was 2018. I just seen a recent article, man. Where they said I can't find it right now, but it's okay. But they had an article, man. They were talking about, man, ICE is down there checking people's phones. They were finding news on people's phones, downloading them. They were doing all kind of methods, man. So now you can see. Plus, Trump jumped out the window and said, "Well, the travel ban is on." So he added these 12 countries, saying that they can't come here no more. Travel bans: Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and some other countries also been added with heightened restrictions, as the article is acknowledging. So you've got the travel ban, you've got the heightened security regarding immigration, or your international traveling. They're checking phones, everything now. Trump on Wednesday resurrected a hallmark policy of his first term, announcing that citizens of 12 countries would be banned from visiting the United States, and those from 7 others would face restrictions. Where's the other 7? Down here. There'll be heightened restrictions on visitors from Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. So, and you got to keep it real. Most of them countries are Muslim countries, but at the same time, I mean, what threat is Haiti? As much as America has raped, pillaged, and destroyed Haiti, they saying that after we done destroyed your whole island, man, you can't come over here for refuge. You can't come over here to try to, get a better life and put yourself back on track. You can't do it. They went over there to destroy Libya, man. Remember Gaddafi? Remember Hillary Clinton saying, "We came, we saw, he died." Ha ha ha. You go and destroy that whole economy. You go and destroy the people over there, man. You say, "Okay, well, we want to come to America and get our life back on track." Nope, can't do it. Afghanistan, you bombed the hell out of them, destroyed that place for 20 years, said it was weapons of mass destruction. You funded terrorism. You had the poppy fields, the garden and heroin fields. Destroy over there. They say, "Well, I want to come over there and get my life together, bring my friend." Nope, can't do it. Sorry, we're just going to be the locusts of the earth, man, and destroy everything you got and then bring it back home. You can't leave. So there you have it. Travel ban jumping off. Let's look at a couple of recalls, man. Let me speed this up and get up out of here. Now, I thought this caught my eye because I bought multiple cans of this as part of my, my emergency food supply, because it lasts maybe about, I want to say about 3 years stored. So I immediately, my antennas went up like, hold on, what? 256,185 pounds of canned beef stew recalled nationwide. Here we go again with the food recalls, right? It's damn near like every week, man. They're destroying the food supply. They're replacing it with garbage. Not that, stuff that we getting is, A1, but damn. Hormel Foods Corporation, Tucker, Georgia establishment is recalling approximately 256,000 pounds of canned beef stew, product that may be contaminated with foreign material, specifically wood. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, Food and Safety Inspection Service announced Tuesday the canned beef stew item was produced February 4th, 2025, and has a best by February 2028 date. And you got the incident right here. So if you got any of this, you bought any since February, or you have a best by February 2028 date, you might want to get rid of that. Right? Take a screenshot if you need to. I don't know if anybody has this. Like I said, I have it, but I didn't buy it in February. I bought mine way before that. But one reason why is because it's kosher for Passover. You don't have to throw it out, and it lasts up to 3 years. And I've tasted it. It's not bad. Talking about surviving and just getting by, it'll do the trick. Get the protein in there, man. It is what it is. But if you got it, get rid of it. There's another one. Urgent nationwide warning for ground beef contamination with deadly bacteria linked to colon cancer. Here we go again. Right. And this was sold at Whole Foods. You're thinking, I'm going to Whole Foods for my groceries. I'm getting the good stuff. Really? Ain't nothing good right now, man. Health officials have issued an urgent warning over ground beef sold at Whole Foods that may be contaminated with E. coli. All right. The U.S. Department of Agriculture issued a public health alert Tuesday for 1 pound vacuum packages of organic rancher beef from Vermont-based NPC Processing Inc. So, for my Whole Food folks out there that say, man, I'm getting the good stuff, if you have organic rancher beef, the 1 pound vacuum sealed packs, and you got it from Whole Foods, anywhere between May 22nd, May 23rd, with a use by date of June 19th to June 20th, you must get rid of it or return it. Take it back to Whole Foods and say, hey, this is no good. I'm saying the recall. Get your money back. All right. Stay alert. FEMA staff is confused. Exclusive. FEMA staff is confused after the head of FEMA said he was unaware of the U.S. hurricane season. He doesn't even know that there's hurricane seasons in the U.S. We getting hit by tornadoes, storms, cyclones. Hurricane season is every year. It starts in the Caribbean. It goes up on the East Coast from Miami, the Carolinas. We've had hurricanes that hit all the way up to New York before. They hit the coastal areas. Sometimes they get even in the interiors of the South. This guy said, he didn't even know. Oh, what are you talking about? Hurricane season? I didn't know. Mind you, they got reduced staff, decreased budget. They ain't gonna be ready for what's coming down the pipeline. There's already stories saying, man, that FEMA's not ready for any more disasters right now. The broke. Trump is already taking their money and their funding away, man. Ask the people in St. Louis when them tornadoes hit, Kentucky. Them tornadoes hit a couple weeks ago, and they still yet to see FEMA on the ground. No help there, right? So that's the ineptness of where America's headed, man. They're running out of answers for the wrath of the Lord. I'm gonna skip that one. So no, now retirement age change could hit 257 million Americans by 2033 under the new plan. Check if you're affected. Yeah, they're trying to increase the age of Social Security, which Social Security was damn near a scam from the jump, because when it was established, it was based around the lifespan of a person, right? They looked at the general consensus regarding lifespans of people. Let's just say they noticed people's lifespans was, people was dying around 52, 55 years old. So they said, okay, well, we're going to make retirement, for example, people eligible for retirement at 62. Their stats and analytics, they're saying, well, shit, how many people are going to actually make it to 62 that we're going to actually have to pay back? Well, most people are dying around 55. Okay, set it at 62, so we ain't got to pay. Then when people start outliving that, raise it to 65. Now they're saying, well, we're going to raise it up to 69 now. So they're saying that 257 million Americans may be eligible for retirement by 2033. And they're saying, well, let's raise up the age even more. I mean, who the hell wants to be working, man, slaving until you damn near 70 years old, and then being told that you can retire with an inflationary, busted up dollar that ain't going to be, either the cost of living is going to be so astronomical that your Social Security check ain't going to pay for you to live. You're going to still have to work anyway. I remember when I was younger, I asked the brother, man, I think he was doing security. He was doing some job, man. The brother had to have been like in his 70s, damn near 80. I said, bro, why are you still working, man? Like, what's up? He said, man, I got bills, man. I can't survive. And this was this is late 90s, early 2000s. I said, man, damn, if you talk about debt slaves, constantly being enslaved to the system, man, can't break free. Shout out to those who've been able to retire successfully, and you're living off your SSI check and your pensions and everything else, and everything worked out according to plan, and you got it, man, all praises. But in many instances, and as we're moving into the future, you'll be of the minority. They do not want us to be able to retire and to have any. I mean, let's keep it real anyway, man. Most of us should be praying that we ain't even trying to get to no damn retirement in Babylon. You know, we need fiery judgment on this place, man, and redemption for the children of the Lord. Before then, if it's the Most High's will, if not, man, we got to continue grinding in the faith, been grinding our way through this thing we call life, man, and in the truth. But they're talking about people going to be losing $3,500 a year based upon this whole thing, and they're raising up the damn debt ceiling. Raising up the age limit. And there's been rumors of them saying that Social Security is gonna be broke by 2030 anyway. But they ain't gonna have the funding for it. This is why this place got to go, man. They just are creating a grid of slave and servitude, man. And as soon as you exceed the ages, it's move up the notch a little bit, man. Move the goalposts a little bit more. They're still living. Oh shoot. Getting back into old Egypt. Say the more that we afflicted them, the more that they grew. In Exodus chapter 1, talking about the children of the Lord, man, they don't want us living. So they like, look, how are we stopping these people, man? Well, raise up the limit. They still living. Matter of fact, they have more babies, more grandbabies. I mean, god dang. Look at that Exodus 1, remember that? Exodus 1, 11 and 12. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. I mean, that's what we're essentially seeing. Raise up they living. Damn niggas. Okay. We got to get up out of here. This is crazy. Amazon testing humanoid robots to deliver packages. Yeah. So not only are they looking for AI and Amazon, robots to replace brothers and sisters' jobs. Amazon, one of the big hustles now for Jakes, man. They say, man, look, we're gonna get the drones to deliver the packages, humanoid robots to deliver them. We're not gonna need you anymore. I seen a video with a damn robot delivering a pizza, and it was like a little cart, driving, went up into the driveway, opened up the thing, cat pulled the pizza out, still hot, closed the top, zipped off. I've seen the robots rolling around in Hollywood, delivering mail and delivering packages up there. And I think I may mention this, but it had to be at least 2 years ago or something like that. Somebody had kicked over the damn robot, and it was one person stopped and said, "This damn ignorant Edomite woman, are you okay? What happened? Who did this?" And the damn thing is just sitting there like rolling and trying to get another dude jump off his bike. What happened? And picking it up as if it's alive. So man, these people are completely sunken in the matrix, man. They're ready to be enslaved. They're ready to be subservient to the beast system. They're ready to be, ruled over by the creature. Right? This is wild. But Amazon's testing humanoid robots to deliver packages, man. So eventually they got the self-driving truck doing deliveries for Walmart and all that. You see what I'm saying? They're pushing everything out. And the replacements is robots, AI, and what's going to be left for us? A universal basic income, living in, fixated, tin can style apartment living, regulated by a beast tracking system, tells you where you can go, where you can't go, credits to be able to buy what regulating your diet, your calorie intake, what you can and can't eat. I mean, the whole nine. The whole nine, man. Vaccine schedules, making sure that you're staying in alignment with your health protocols. The list goes on and on. The list goes on. It's right there. Shalak, you got that too? Yeah, check the date on it. Check the date on it. I don't know when you got yours, but I bought mine a couple of years ago. So matter of fact, mine is probably going to be expiring probably within the next year or so. But yeah, be careful on those. Other than that, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here, man. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, while you have a shot, man. Y'all have a blessed, Pentecost first fruits, man. And Lord willing, we'll tap in with y'all in the near future. Lord allows, next week we'll be back on with some more edification, some more information, Lord willing. But until then, man, we're gonna turn up and enjoy this Pentecost. We have a service tonight with our brothers at Val, and then we're gonna hit the park tomorrow, man, and fellowship, cook out, and do what we do, man. So appreciate everybody's support. We'll be keeping it in the spirit for those who can't make it, those who's on the living in far distance or whatnot, man. Keeping it in the spirit with y'all, man. Praying up for everybody. Y'all be well, man. Enjoy the rest of the Shabbat and first fruits. All right. Shalom.